Welcome back to Papa's These Bees. Today we're going to continue our inspection trip around the yard. We'll go with the kitchen hive and we'll do the inspection and also do a dawn wash on the hive. Well, as usual, we'll just start by taking it apart. There's more of that bubble wrap insulation, which is good stuff. I can hear bees up in the super, so that's good. Yeah, there's nothing in this one today. We're lucky yesterday we got some good honey in here. But it's too light for there to be any honey in here today. So I'm going to take a quick look. By the way, this is the one that we had a late requeening. We lost a queen and we brought over a frame of young larvae over from our resource nuke back probably 2 months ago or maybe a little more. And so they really didn't have a chance to do anything as far as getting any harvestable honey. So I'm hoping they have this filled up, but I'm afraid they don't. They probably had to live on this. Well, there's some nice honey there. So that's good. So then, and they're working on it too. So I guess our fall nectar flow is indeed in progress. So. So we'll do the same thing we did yesterday. We'll go over and find some frames of brood, and of course making sure we don't catch the queen, because we don't want to kill that queen because she's a relatively new one. So yeah, see, there's just nothing here. They are putting a little bit of nectar in it. Whoa. You see, they're working on it just a little bit. So, yeah, there's lots of, you see the glitter in here, but there's lots of nectar they're bringing in. And you can see they got their heads down. They're working on that, so that's good to see. And I believe this is a frame from earlier this year, so there's, again, not much here. There's a little bit of capped something. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like bird. Maybe it should be some old capped pollen, which they will do at times if they don't think it's usable. Okay, now we're getting into some brood. So this is where we'll start taking our first shake of bees. I want to make sure we don't have the queen, because again, if we're doing the dawn wash, we will the bees that are in the wash will perish. So more brood here. That's good. This was a new frame because they haven't quite completely built it out yet. Yeah, some young larvae in there. Again, I'm going to look, trying to find the queen. It's so critical that you don't include your queen in there. And again, the bees that fly away will be the forager bees, which we can't test on them. We'll just need to go on the test, because the mites will end up being on the nurse bees, which is the first thing that the bees do when they're first born. This is a beautiful frame right here. Got some honey on the edges, some pollen, and then some larvae, and I think there's even some eggs in there. So we know she's here. We just don't know what frame she's in. Sometimes they kind of tend to bundle up around the queen, and I want to make sure that that's not what we're seeing here. I think they're just working on honey. Yeah, don't see her, so. Well, I can shake this bunch down too. Nice frame of brood. Nice frame of brood. And again, you hear those bees flying. That's the foragers that are getting out and moving around. Now we're not going to shake this frame. This is because this is more than likely where the queen is. You can see some pollen right there. So again, that's another good indication that you do have a queen, an active laying queen, and lots of really pretty larvae in here, large larvae again. So that means she's been, working in here, within the last week. And there's some really young larvae in there as well. So that means she's even been in here more recently than that. Just going to look at this other frame too, just to kind of see if I can find her. More pollen. These are like drone cells, so I'm not gonna do anything with that. I'm gonna go ahead and just put it back together. The queens are always kind of skittish. They don't really like to be out in the light. So as soon as you start getting in, she'll start running away as best she can. These bees are really kind of sweet. They're, after looking at some that we've had to deal with that were kind of nasty, it's nice to have one have bees that are not nasty. They're gentle. And that, again, that's what you really want as a beekeeper, is to have bees that you can be around and they won't sting you or come after you when you're out there in the yard just watching them. So I'll go ahead and put this back on so I don't forget it. That's about where the brood is, so I'm going to put it right there. Okay. So again, we'll repeat what we did yesterday. We have the dawn wash and there's the recipe that I'll probably put back in this one as well. So we'll get a half a cup of bees, which is about 300 bees. I'm looking for making sure we don't have the queen, because sometimes they're hard to not pick up by accident. So there's about 200, so I need to get about 100 more. There we go. And so now, these bees again they're being euthanized right now as we speak, but as well as their Varroa are also being euthanized. So now, as I said, we'll put this back together. Yeah, this is not as heavy a medium super. If you remember from the discussion yesterday, this medium super, which is this box right here, is only for them. We don't ever touch it because we want them to have food over the winter. If you watched that video yesterday, and I'll put a link to it in case you haven't seen it, but there's a definite difference in the number of bees between these two hives, which is again what I expect because of the fact that this hive has a newer queen, so she hasn't been laying as long. And put the shade on it. This hive needs the shade more than the one back in the corner does, because it's naturally shaded. Again, we'll shake around this a little bit, because again, we want to make sure that the mites are dead and they dislodge and fall to the bottom. And yesterday when I said that the bee weaver bees normally don't have as many mites, part of the issue with the bee weaver queens is not only do they normally get rid of the mites as much as they can, they don't really impact them. As big as that hive was back there, one of One of the problems that we get with Varroa is the fact that that they, when they latch onto a bee, and it's like a tick on a human, they get in and they start exchanging fluids with the bee, and in that process, they give them a lot of deadly viruses that will damage, will actually decimate a whole hive. One of the things that's most popular that you hear seeing the most, that smoke's getting in my face, is something called deformed wing virus. And if you see a honeybee with deformed wing virus, the wings are all shriveled up and they can't fly. So again, that bee is basically worthless to the hive and worthless to themselves. And so therefore we want to keep the Varroa down so they don't pass on all those viruses that they normally have. Okay, I'm not seeing any in here so far. Again, I'm going to take out the bee cup and put the lid back on it so I can kind of watch and see. One thing I really like about this cup is that it's waterproof. I can turn it upside down and it's not going to leak. Whereas the yellow one, the one that most people see, the Vita one, is the problem with it. It leaks. You can't even hardly shake it because it will leak so bad. Okay, I am at this point not seeing any. It seems zero, which is awesome, which is great. So what we'll do is we'll go back in and make sure that there's not any in there. And if we do, we'll have to treat them. And I'll put a link to a video that we did this morning where we actually started the treatment on the kitchen hive. So far what I'm seeing is great, and I'm real happy. The bees are finally beginning to catch up, and they're starting to bring nectar in, which is great for the fall. So tomorrow we'll probably look at the horizontal hives, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching.